Good afternoon. Today we're going to take a look at a typical sales flow through SAP Business One using the web client. So I'm going to start over here at my home page. When I click on my home, this row here represents my home. If I go to CRM, you can see now this row represents CRM and so forth. And in my home, here I have the ability to view approval decisions. So I may be entering quotes or orders, and some of those may be requiring approval. If so, I can drill down here and I can see which one of my sales orders or invoices, whatever it is I might be doing, uh, what stage of the approval is it, and has it been approved or processed? So that's one of the things that I check quite often because SAP Business One has the ability to do digital approvals. Your quotes and orders and other sales activities can be processed very effectively and quickly, real time, through the approval solution there. So, enough for my home. Let's jump in and let's talk about sales. Now, for some folks, sales begins with opportunities. For other folks, sales is more about customer relationship management. And so let's start out here. Here I have a list of my customers, and I'm going to go ahead and let's bring one of those up. I'm going to look for one of my customers that begins with EAR. And if I click find here, it'll go out there. And in this case, it found my several of them. Here's the one I'm looking for, Earthshaker Corporation. So let's drill down and let's talk about CRM from a customer perspective. So a couple of unique things to mention is that your customers, they'll have unlimited addresses, unlimited bill tos, unlimited ship to addresses. One sales order can ship to multiple addresses. The other thing that's nice about the customer master is you also have unlimited contacts. And these contacts could be tied to specific addresses and those kinds of things. And from an accounting perspective, you also have the ability to do consolidation with a parent-child relationship. Now, while I'm here, I can see a couple of things visually. I see a map to where they're located, so I can click and bring up that map. I also see they've exceeded their credit limit and that I have 103 activities with this customer. And so I'm able to click and drill down and bring up, phone calls. What was the conversation about? Previous tasks, meetings, notes, collection letters, whatever it might be. So this gives me my full contact history with that particular customer. All right. So for some folks, that's CRM, all about customer management. For others, you might want the ability to start with an opportunity. And in this case here, let's find some here. Let's grab all my opportunities. Here we go. And an opportunity, it's not a quote, it's not a sales order. It's really just an interest to buy something. So as an example, I'm going to drill down into this one opportunity here, and we'll just take a quick look at what an opportunity is. So again, it's recording an interest from a customer. We're keeping track of what do we think the sales potential is, the weighted amount, the potential gross profit, what type of products and services are they interested in, and then what stage are we at in the sales cycle. And at any point in the sales cycle, this opportunity can then graduate into a sales quote or even a sales order. In fact, we can go from an opportunity right into a sales invoice. So that might be what CRM is to other folks. So again, you've got full opportunity management, and then you've got full CRM or customer management within your what we call business partners. All right, so let's go through some sales. Let's start out by going to our sales quotes. And here I can view existing quotes. I can select a quote. I can move it forward. I can copy it into the next step, into a sales order. I can preview and print my quotes from here, as well as create new quotes. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's create a brand new sales quotation, and we'll follow it all the way through. Here I'm going to select my customer. And I can scroll through this list. I can use my filters to narrow it down. Or if this is a company that I've never sold anything to, then the other option I have is I can create a new business partner or a new customer right there on the fly. You also have sorting capabilities. So I can sort the list ascending, descending. So it'll be very easy for you to go out and find and see if you've worked with that company before. All right, we've got a customer. If there is a PO or a reference number, probably not because this is a quote. But if there are some additional remarks about our conversation as we put this quote in, that's where that would go. Everything else here is pretty much good to go. Now we come down to the contents. What is the customer interested in? Now, what I like about this is that I can begin typing and it'll go out and give me a list of items that meet that criteria. So in this case here, they're interested in some safety vests and they're also, let's go ahead and sell them a couple of different sizes here. We'll sell them some mediums as well. You'll also notice, I'll just do a lookup, but when you look up your items, you'll also notice you have full visibility of how many do we have in stock. And so the other nice thing about this lookup list is that if I click on the gear icon or the settings, you can see that I can add additional fields. So of course I can see what I have in stock, but you know what? I'd really like to see something like, do I have any on order? And so I can go through this list looking for any specific fields that might really help to give the end user a better experience. And so I probably went past it here, but I get the idea. You can turn on any additional fields you want, as well as for the filters. So in this case here, I'm just looking at all items. Maybe we'll add another item, and we can do that just by clicking on it here. Okay. So let's close that. So we've got our order here. We've got a couple of items here. One sold in a 2-pack. This one sold in an each. That's an example where you can sell very similar items or even the same item in different units of measure. If I want to sell this in eaches, I can simply change my unit of measure on the fly and sell a pallet, a case, an each, which is a really nice feature. I don't have to have different items because I might be selling them in different units of measure. You'll also see it defaulted in the shipping warehouse. This is the warehouse I plan to ship the goods from. But again, I can go out there and ship from a different warehouse. Each line can ship from a different warehouse. You see how it automatically brought the pricing in. It brought the pair price in here and the each price in here. It knows that this customer is a resale customer, so it brought the exempt tax code in and the sales rep, the commission, any other fields are all available. Remember that gear icon here. I can click this, and this is where, first off, you've got to have security access to do that. So I would say most users, your power users, will have the ability to click that and then pick and choose what fields are important. Like for example, I was just doing a demonstration for some other related companies about oil rigs, another jewelry, one does deliveries, royalties. If you don't do royalties, again, you can turn fields off that you don't need. And so we'll go ahead and select OK. And now the scroll bar, you'll see, will get a little bit bigger. So again, you have complete control over what you want your sales reps to see. All right, so we've got our sales order there, our contents. You'll notice the logistics, it all was brought in automatically. All the accounting's in place, the terms code, all of that. If there are any attachments, documentation, if you're a make-to-order company and you're getting a CAD image or a schematic, all of those can be added right here. And then I'm going to switch over here, and you can see that I've added quite a few user-defined fields over time. You guys will have the ability to do exactly the same. You can add as many user-defined fields as you want. All right, so let's go ahead and let's add and view our quote. There we go. So we've got a brand new quotation. Quote is, let's go ahead and quote 1546. Well, if we go back to our main menu and we bring up our quotes, we'll see our quote 1546 right here. Now, let's select that quote and let's email it out to our customer. So I can preview my quote. And I also have the ability to have a different crystal report formats for different types of customers. So I may have a government customer that needs a certain type of looking quote versus, say, somebody else. So we'll just go ahead and we're going to preview our quote. This is generating a crystal report. Here it is. It's got logo, your company name, details about the quote, and so forth. So from here, I can email it, print it, share it, download it, do whatever your network's been configured to do. So let's go ahead and close that. There we go, letting us know it printed. Now we find out the customer's thrilled with our quote. They want to move forward. So with it still selected here, we're going to move this to the next step. We're going to copy our quote to a sales order, and we're going to answer yes, even though we know they've exceeded their credit limit. Now, in previous demonstrations, I've showed how the alerts and the approvals will automatically stop a quote or stop a sales order for a credit check, based on the results of that credit check, if you configure it to do that. The system can be set up to do that right out of the box. All right, so all we really need to do is select or let the let the customer inform us of exactly when do you want it, and we got to balance that with when we can promise it, of course. So in this case here, the customer wants this on Friday the 29th. That's when they would like it delivered. You'll notice that everything else has been completely filled out. There's our line items, our logistic details, accounting, any attachments, and user-defined fields. Now that we're in a sales order, if I need to make an adjustment, change a quantity or something else, I can do that. That's not a problem. If I want to give the customer a discount because I really like them, I think they're great, I'll go ahead and do that too. We're going to modify the sales order a little bit, and we're going to give them a 1% discount. Now let's go ahead and let's add and view our sales order. Now, again, it's trying to talk me out of this. It's saying, Mike, are you sure you want to add this order? They've exceeded their credit limit by $148,000. We're going to let it slide this time. But again, in the real world, that could be prevented through an approval. That could route this sales order or the sales order off to accounting for approval. And, that sales order may not be able to go forward. All right, so we've got our sales order. Now, you've seen how we can go ahead and print it, send it off to the customer. All right, so all of that's available. If we go click on our sales orders, we'll see there's our most recent sales order here with Earthshaker. And so now at this point, we're at a fork in the road. We could go a number of different directions. What happens when an order is created, when I go to print a preview, it can generate not only the order acknowledgement, but also the pick list and a performa invoice if one of those is needed, a bill of lading. There's all kinds of things it can generate, but a pick list being one of those. And so the order came in, the folks in inventory receive an alert notifying them you've got an order ready for picking. This is where they can be using their handheld scanners, but we're going to be doing all of this in SAP today. We won't talk about the add-in for handheld wireless scanning right at this point. We'll just use the web form here. But that's what happens. Inventory gets notified, and at this point, we're ready to ship the product. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this order. We're going to move it to the next step here in the workflow, and we're going to copy it to a delivery. And now this is where it's going to create a journal entry, and this is where the inventory actually leaves the building. And if any of these items were serial controlled or batch controlled, at this point, it will require us to enter those serial or batch numbers. We'll just take a quick look at the Contents tab here. This all looks good. There really isn't anything we need to do. It's just a matter of, was everything picked and packaged correctly for this customer? Yep, it was. It's set in a staging location. The truck shows up. And at this point, we're looking at what's being loaded onto that truck. And now we're going to add and view our delivery. And again, this is going to create a journal entry. And it's when we we'll see the inventory adjusted and these items now removed from inventory. All right, and that's the delivery. So if we go back to our main menu here, we slide on over, we can see all of our deliveries, including the delivery we just did. Now that we've delivered this, and this is a feature I really like, I have several shipments I've made to Earthshaker. Now, what we're looking at right here is this is my open sales delivery. So these are shipments that I've made, and I haven't invoiced my customer for them yet. So at this point, I can select all of Earthshaker's orders, and I can go ahead and I can copy those to an AR invoice. Off it goes, and it's letting me know we're going to copy different headers, blah, blah, blah. The default value for the business partner master name will be used. So it's basically giving you some details about this, and it's letting you know that on the sales orders, there were some differing fields, but they're all for the same customer, and that's fine. And now when we look at the contents tab, it's got all of the deliveries, including the one that we created a minute ago, all here in a single AR invoice. And so let's go ahead and let's add and view our invoice. Now, you're going to notice that my hands haven't really touched the keyboard a whole lot. We put that data in when we were entering a quote, and that's it. And all of that information has carried all the way forward to an AR invoice. Now let's take a look at what we've gone through. I'm going to bring up the relationship map here. Let's open this up. And this is what we've accomplished today in a very short amount of time. And this is pretty impressive. So here's our AR invoice. Whoops, let me find another one. That's not the one. Here we go. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. You can see there's a lot of involved. When we included to invoice those other deliveries, they all had a history behind them, and that's what we're seeing in in comparison to what we just did as well. So let's see. We've got an AR invoice we created. This one here. Here it is. Here's the invoice we created. Yeah, it's due a month from today. So here's the invoice we created today. And we can see that that invoice is made up of this delivery and this delivery, this other delivery down here. These were the sales orders and these were the quotes those orders came from. We did have some cancellations. It looked like one of the deliveries that was made on a prior invoice came back, was reversed. But anyways, a lot going on. The cool thing about this is it captures all of it. So I have a really good audit history of everything going on. Now that's the process from quote to AR invoice. Now let's go back to our main menu here, and this is where I can come into my some of my different here we go, payments. That's what I'm looking for, and now we can process the incoming payment. And so let's go ahead and do that. Now let's first start by selecting a customer. And so I'm going to go with Earthshaker. So we'll go ahead and key in Earth. And this will go out, and this found for me all of Earthshaker's open invoices. Now, I can sort these invoices however I want. I believe it's showing me some of the oldest ones first. Let me see if we can sort this in descending order by posting date. Here we go. And so this will show us all of our invoices. Now, to receive a payment, we select the invoice we're receiving a payment from. And then we go ahead and we create an incoming payment. And then we can create an incoming payment directly to a GL account or directly to a business partner. So in this case here, we're going to do an incoming payment to our customer. Let's go ahead and select Earthshaker here. Let's find them up here. Let's process a payment for Earthshaker. We want them to pay for what we just sold them. Now below, I see all of Earthshaker's open AR invoices. And and any credits, by the way, there's their credit. They also have a credit that we can apply at the same time. So in this case here, here's the invoice we created today. And remember, it's a consolidated invoice. It included multiple shipments that hadn't been invoiced yet. So that's the invoice they're going to be paying us. And we can see now the total amount due. So the payment means is, now, how are they going to pay us? Are they paying us by check? Then I fill out this line. Are they paying us by bank transfer? In this case here, I'm going to record an ACH transfer. They transferred into my checking account. Here is the date of the transfer. The total amount they transferred. I can drop the balance in there by doing a Control B. That instantly drops the balance in there. And then the reference number. This is the actual bank transfer number. And so we're going to go ahead and key that in here, which links to my bank statement. Keep in mind, I could also be importing this data from a bank statement. I don't have to be processing this incoming payment manually like I'm doing here. So that records a bank transfer. Again, it could be a check transfer, it could be a credit card, it could be cash. Now, they could have also transferred me too much money. In this case here, maybe they sent me $16,000. They made a mistake. But being the honest chap that I am, I'm going to make sure that the remaining will stay posting on account. And so that's the point I wanted to make here. If I go and if a customer overpays, then what it will do is it'll create a journal entry and put that amount on account that can later be applied to other transactions. All right. I'm going to go ahead and let's go back to our main menu here. Just a quick recap. We talked about CRM could be all about customer management or full-on opportunity management, that eventually we create some quotes. Those quotes become orders. Those orders, we then get those products delivered. Now, I didn't go through the whole picking and packing process, but if we go to the item management tab over here, this is where I have the ability to do all my different inventory transactions, my picking, my packing. But again, the sales order can also generate that pick list. So it's kind of optional whether you need to do that. Another thing I want to mention before I leave is I also deal with EDI orders. And so when I go to sales, I can see a tile here for open EDI orders. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that tile. Now, what I like about the reports inside of Business One is that I can have different instant report options. So I can go from a standard view, my default view, to my open EDI orders. And now I can see all of my sales orders that have come in through EDI, and I can kind of see where they're at in that process. Have the ASNs been generated? Again, you've got the scroll bar down here, so you can see as little or as much detail as you can stand. Now, as I mentioned in other web demos, you get 3 views of your data. So when I'm looking at my open EDI orders, I can also look at a chart view. Now, what this is showing me, or what I've chosen to see, is what quantities came in on the EDI order and how much of that do I have in stock to fulfill that EDI order. So I'm seeing 2 rows here. I'm seeing all the items that I have open EDI orders for. The blue line represents the quantity that was ordered, and the brown line represents how much quantity I have in stock. Then the third page over here, the card page, this shows me all my analytics in and around EDIs. Any way that you can imagine slicing and dicing this EDI data, then you're able to do that. So, and all of this, you see the edit. I can go out here and I can add new analytics. I can change my my chart up however I want, and come back here. I can add filters and change the settings of what I see. And then when I'm done, I can go ahead and save my changes. Now, the next time I bring up my Open EDI orders report, it'll look exactly the way that I like it to look. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.